Doctors, nurses who deliver babies. What are some strange funny things people have screamed while giving birth? A young couple, mom and dad were both around 18 if I recall correctly. First baby for them both. Mom's pushing and dad is doing this awkward jig wanting to be helpful but not really knowing how to be helpful. At one point I say, okay, we can see the head now, still a while to go, and dad jumps up, runs to the counter, puts on rubber gloves, and gets into football receiving position, like 10 feet away from mom's legs. We all burst out laughing and he was very embarrassed to learn that babies do not shoot out across the room to be caught like a football. When my sister was in labor, she was screaming and our mom was trying to be comforting. It'll be okay. Take some deep breaths. It'll be over soon. Then my sister looks up at our mom and says, you have no idea what this is like. You just wouldn't understand, mom. When my brother was born, they had to use forceps to get him out. My mom saw them and screamed, those are salad tongs. You are not putting any goddamn kitchenware in there. When I gave birth and they pulled out the forceps, I thought they looked like ice tongs, not salad tongs, much bigger. The doctor who controlled the pain meds saw my face and asked if I wanted to remember any of this. I said nope. Last thing I remember. My mother's labor was extremely short. I was born within an hour, so that means that she went from experiencing minimal pain to extreme pain with little time to adjust. When my dad was driving her to the hospital, he unfortunately had to stop for gas. He went in to pay, and just then an elderly man in a wheelchair stopped him, asking him to buy cigarettes for him as the store was not wheelchair accessible. My mom then proceeded to lean out the window, yelling, "Don't help the cripple." We have never let her forget that one. I'm sorry to laugh at your mom, but dang, that was funny. I'm white, Irish ancestry, so I had red hair when I was a child, and my wife is black. Her sister was also in the delivery room. When the baby crowned, her sister told her she could see the baby's hair. My wife, who can barely breathe, blurted out, "The hair isn't red, is it?" Apparently she was terrified the baby would be black with red hair. My roommate and I just finished our labor and delivery rotation in July. During one of the births she was helping out in, the mom and the dad were separated but still good friends. So while this woman is pushing out her baby, she begins to half tell half scream that my roommate should date her ex, the baby daddy. The conversation went something like this: "Mom, you should really," screams in pain, "go out with," screams again, "him sometime. He's really fun. Dad, I wouldn't mind some drinks sometime. What are you doing this evening?" No, she did not go out with him. That would make a heck of a love story. Paramedic here. Delivered a baby for a lady who did not realize she was pregnant and called us for abdominal pain. Patient: "You are an idiot. I am not freaking pregnant." Me: "Well, I can see a head crowning." Patient: "That must be a freaking tumor." The tumor was a healthy baby girl. Mom was totally sweet afterwards. BTW. Patient fully dilated, started pushing, then changed her mind. "I don't wanna do this, I'm going the frick home," and then tried to get off the table. This happens. Holy crap, this happens. Fear 101. EMT who did a birth on the side of the road. Woman shouted "frick me" during a contraction and the husband casually replied, "That's how we got into this mess." Damn it. I had a very hard time containing myself. Pretty sure my husband said this exact thing to me while I was delivering our daughter. I am not an obgyn, but I was questioning a patient in the about some other health problem. She wasn't carrying at the time. When I got to the part about the gynecological history, I asked how many kids did she have and how were they born. She had 2 kids and were both born with C-section. I should clarify that this was in Spain and the patient was gypsy. Now gypsies are not usually well educated and women often marry young and don't finish school. They also talk weird. Now, the lady told me she had 2 kids and 2 C-sections and I asked her why she had to deliver by C-section. She said because the first kid was a cum cono. Well, this can be translated as pee eater. This lady was convinced that her first child was going to eat her pee and had to be taken out before he did. You can imagine my surprise. At first I didn't understand and left the room after the questioning, still puzzled. I went and started digging in her file and found out that the C-section had to be done because after she broke water the doctors noticed the amniotic fluid was filled with baby crap. Usually when a baby shoots in utero, it is a sign that the baby is suffering and has to come out quick. That was why she had a C-section. Now here is why it is funny. 1. In utero baby crap is called meconio. 2. The doctors probably told this lady that she had to get a C-section because the baby comes with meconio. 3. Comes with meconio equals villain con meconio in Spanish. 4. Villain con meconio sounds a lot like villain con mecono. Peter. 5. Imagine being told your whole life that your mom had to get a C-section because you were going to eat her pee when you actually almost died at childbirth. I know it must not be that funny in English, but I did my best translating it and hope some of you see how funny it was for me. One lady was too posh to swear when in pain from contractions. She just said jeepers creepers. Jinkies. When I was born, my dad didn't know that babies are usually born face down, and as I was coming out he screams, "Oh my gosh, he doesn't have a face." This is my favorite. I was high on meds at the time. I was begging for barbecue ribs in between contractions. Come on, honey, the nurses will never know they were standing right there. Apparently, when my aunt was giving birth, she was all jokes. Very angry jokes, but jokes nonetheless. Knock knock. WHO's there. The baby. Not yet. Not a doctor, but a father. When my first child was born, his head was kind of misshapen, and when the doctor lifted him up to show my wife, she yelled, "Why the frick does he look like a raptor?" I lost it. My dad has told me they thought I was a girl all the way up to birth. I came out as a C-section and the doctor goes, "Ha, this one's got extra equipment." My wife told me, in a satanic voice, to get better ice chips. These suck. I am not sure what the quality issue was, but I ran and got her a different cup full. I'm a nurse, but I'm also a mom. My husband told me when I was breathing the laughing gas I screamed, "I'm Lady Darth Vader," as I was pushing. But then I asked the doctor if he felt my tonsils when he had his arm up there. These are my co-workers. I hope they let you live it down. I'm a nurse, and one of the strangest things that I've seen happen while someone is giving birth is one patient decided to tell her boyfriend that it wasn't his baby. That made the whole room silent and the boyfriend just left without saying a thing. When my first was born, a nurse told us about a black baby being born unexpectedly to a white mother in full view of her white husband. This was in the 80s in my very conservative white town. She said both sets of parents were there and you could have cut the atmosphere with a knife. During labor, about a half an hour before the god-awful ripping and tearing, I was losing my crap. My older sister panicked and ran around the room. My mom, the birth coach, said to my sister to give me a focal point, something to concentrate on, so I didn't jump out of the nearest window. My sister lifted her shirt and shows us her boobs. Hilarity and awful pain ensued. After a long contraction, I said quietly, "I'm gonna set everyone in this room on fire." Everyone laughed, including the nurse, but I think my devoutly Christian mother-in-law started to cry. It's times like this that I wish I was a woman so that I can scream wildly inappropriate and zany things during my pregnancy. Then I say that again and realize I just wished I could give birth, roughly aware of how painful it might be. All better. Not exactly during labor, but right after. I had a very bad tear during natural childbirth, which meant lots of stitches. Add to that it was training day for one of the med students and it was taking a long time. A really long time. Finally I look down between my knees and ask, "What the heck? Are you guys weaving a friendship bracelet down there?" Both doctors, the intern, and the med student burst out laughing so hard they had to stop working. Apparently there was some issue with how the intern was stitching me up and things had gotten tense. This lightened the mood quite a bit. After I had my son I was pretty wasted on all the pain meds they'd given me. I looked at my husband and said, "Honey, Condoleezza Rice is out there waiting for me. Tell her I can't come out to play today. I just had a baby." My third. I was delirious, so I don't remember much. Hyperventilating because I thought something was wrong. Pain was much more intense than my first two. I get to the hospital at 11:15. Have my son at 11:24. After everything is calmed down the nurses start giggling. Apparently I had yelled at them to take off my pants and look up my you buttholes. I had a C-section and was pretty out of it. When they held up my daughter and said, "Here's your baby," I responded, "That's not mine. I've never seen it before in my life. Take it to Lost and Found." Comma, I've never seen it before in my life. Well, there's some accuracy in that statement. As a nursing student, I was watching a planned C-section. The procedure was being performed by the senior resident. Everything seemed to be going well when I heard the resident mutter whoops, and I looked up and saw blood squirting out, pulsing. She fixed the artery very quickly, but it obviously freaked out mom and dad. Everything turned out okay for mom and baby. First words to my son: you better be awesome, cause that freaking hurt a lot. At one point when I was having contractions, I said fuck really loud and long, and my husband said there's $1 for the swear jar, which is our little inside joke. But the nurse thought he was serious and tried to give him a condescending lecture about how painful childbirth is, until I told them both to shut the frick up or get murdered, because seriously, shut the frick up. A friend's mom is a nurse. Nurse, have you seen the mucus plug? Woman in labor. Yeah, that moron went out to have a cigarette. I actually do deliver babies. Most women don't scream anything coherent. It takes too much energy to form clear thoughts, much less say them out loud. If anything, they say things they want, like water, but always very short sentences. My back, my clit, it burns. Oh god, I can't. No more. Why isn't it coming? What's wrong? Pull it out. When my mother was pregnant, she and my dad decided to have an amnio. A stand-in doctor was there the day she found out the results, and despite mum's instructions that she did not want to be told the sex, the doctor congratulated her on having a healthy little boy. My mum freaked out and decided not to tell my dad, so as not to ruin the surprise. Fast forward to the day of my birth. I'm brought into this bright world without a penis. The doctor congratulates my mother on her little girl. My mum responds by yelling, "You've got to be freaking kidding me." Silence from everyone in the room. The doctor then has a serious chat with my mum about loving me even though I am a girl, etc., etc. Turns out the amnio results were mixed up with another woman of the same name. Yeah, quite the confuzzle. She wanted a surprise. Sometimes you get what you wish for. Not a doctor, but during the birth of my firstborn I kept screaming I got a poop. I got a poop actually. It was her head creating pressure as it was coming down the birth canal. Felt just like an 8-pound poop. Not nurse, doctor. When my mom was delivering me, she pulled my dad down to her level by his shirt and said, "Get the frick out of my face." No one was responding to the call button as my mom was giving birth, so she yelled, "Do something honey," so my dad ran out into the hallway and screamed at the top of his lungs. "It's showtime and I'm not a very good catcher." Clearly you have an exceptional memory. Fortunately, when I gave birth to my nephew, it was a quick labor. Apparently, though I was stoic as heck, my eyes would roll back in my head every time I had to push or had a really tough contraction. But I didn't say anything. I bit into my lip though until it was bleeding during the last couple of pushes. Apparently everyone looked up from the baby and I'm streaming blood from my mouth. Freaked my sister and the doctor out for a moment, lol. The delivery nurse for my son's birth was about 4 minutes and 11 seconds. She kept talking to me and I couldn't see her over my belly and legs. It was really frustrating. She said, "Do you want me to pull down the mirror so you can see?" I was like, "I don't need the goddamn play-by-play, let's just do this." I apologized afterwards. She laughed. Oh, just thought of another one. For one of my pregnancies I ended up having an emergency C-section. I was drugged to the eyeballs and I remember really liking one of the nurses because she smiled a lot and quoted poetic lyrics from my favorite songs. When the drugs wore off I remembered I was the one quoting the lyrics. No wonder she was so smiley. My fiance is a doctor and my mother's a nurse, so I'm claiming the titles by association for the purposes of this thread. My mother was unexpectedly having her 4th child and chose not to find out the sex. We like surprises everywhere. Apparently, for some reason, she became convinced it was a boy and would have bet the house on it. In the delivery room, they hand the baby to my dad and he joyfully tells my mom that they have a new baby girl. Mom, what? Number? Check again. Dad, I'm pretty sure it's a girl. Honey, Mom, you're not looking hard enough. My older sister cried when she found out I was a boy, and both of my older brothers danced in jubilation. To this day she doesn't remember this. My wife had her epidural for the C-section and at one point asked, is it out yet? I really should get home now. So I answered, no honey, they still busy cutting. Her reply had the entire orange stitches. Okay. Tell them to neaten up while they're in there. Oops, not a doctor. I was standing in the corner under strict instructions not to faint or throw up. Right after my son was born via C-section, I was still higher than a hippie at Woodstock from the drugs they gave me. They handed me my beautiful newborn son and the first words out of my mouth were, oh my god, his scrotum is huge. Then I laughed hysterically. To be fair, it really was. During my birth, aside from my husband, my best friend was in the room. She had recently been certified as a doula. For those of you that don't know, a doula is support for the mother. They don't do anything medical, but can help support the mom or her partner, help with pain solutions, etc. I stubbornly wanted to deliver without drugs, and during a particularly bad contraction she leaned in and told me to think of my Wonder Focus, something you are looking forward to learning about your child when they are born, like an incentive. So hair color, weight, sex, etc. I looked her square in the face and told her to shut up with her hippie bulls. You have been visited by the snake of great corn. You will be blessed with corn for eternities to come, but only if you comment, corn me up, snake. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.